Hello and welcome to Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm one of your hosts, PWR Ryan, and joining me tonight is Daddy Perino. How you doing, man?
I am doing wonderful, Ryan. How are you?
Doing pretty well. It's been a long week already. I know it's only Wednesday, but it just feels like it's been such a long week.
You know what it is? It's the holidays coming up, and there's a ton of stuff in Rocket League and in real life going on at the same time. I think we're all on a similar plane of thinking.
No, I definitely have to agree. It's one of those things I'm like, can it just be Christmas break already? Like, get like about a week off. That'd be nice. I just had Thanksgiving break, so it was like, that was nice. Now I'm like, I need another one already.
Yeah, for me, it's a ton of travel too, because, I'm in Philadelphia, but then I'm visiting family. I visited family in Arizona, and then I'm going back to Rhode Island again for Christmas. I'm going to go twice, I think. So it's just juggling all that. And then again, we have a ton of stuff with Rocket League this week as well. So it's a lot.
Yeah, you got to go do way more than I have to. But guys, if you didn't know, this is Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. We're here every week to give you your fix on all things Rocket League. If you like this, be sure to give us a thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, all those things on your listening service of choice, whether that's here, YouTube, or any of our podcast services that we drop it on. Quick shout out to our Patreon producers for the month of December. That is Kelvin Winter, Father of Five, and Nao. We thank them very much for their support. If you want to be a supporter, you can head over to patreon.com/playingwithrockets and kick us a buck over there, and you may be able to add your name to that list that we read out before the show every day. And then also a special shout out to Nexum Crash over on Reddit, who gave us an RLCS Emerald Pro Wheel code to give away. We are finally ready to go ahead and do all that. So Perino, why don't you kind of share with people how that's going to work exactly? We're going to go more in depth on it later, of course.
Yes. So I have literally just put the finishing touches on this wonderful little bracket tool that we have made. So here's how we're going to do this. There is a whole bracket here of group stages and playoff games, and you're going to have the opportunity to pick along with us. So we'll give you the links, and again, Ryan touched on this. We'll go into more detail later in the show. We're going to fill out who you think is going to win all the different games. We then, count up how many picks you get correct. They're worth points. Whoever has the most points will end up winning a pair of those beautiful golden green RLCS Season 7 Emerald Pro. Again, those are not the Madrid wheels. They are the Newark, New Jersey wheels. But regardless, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, again, Ryan and I will sort of cover that later on. But do pay attention after we cover some of the more news stuff for this week. We'll go into it. We'll show you how to do it. It's really fun.
Yeah. It'll be a whole fun process, and I'm looking forward to us doing our predictions. But first, we got to go into our news segment. We got 2 items on the report today. Are you ready to go for those?
Absolutely.
All right, so the first bit of news is Complexity has officially dropped their Rocket League roster after relegating down to the Rocket League Rival Series. That team consisted of Flakes, Greasy Meister, and Magnus. Correct? Magnus?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I had that right.
You're putting me on the spot, man.
We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that's the roster. I'm pretty sure it is Magnus. But they officially dropped that team. And so Complexity, though, I think are still interested in sticking around the Rocket League scene. I think they did make a tweet about still trying to pick up another team or something. I could be wrong in that.
Yes. Jason Lake, who is the owner of Complexity, came out and said he is still interested in Rocket League, but not with this roster.
Yeah. So they may be hopping back in before we know it, but are you surprised by this? Because I saw it coming. I wasn't shocked to see it.
Yeah, I'm not totally stunned by it. I think the issue was that, the way it went down at the end of the season, the results simply weren't there. I don't think Complexity is interested in maintaining a rival series roster. And from my understanding, not only did the organization drop the roster, but then I believe that roster has also disbanded, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if the roster disbanded. I know that Flakes is looking for a teammate. I didn't see anything from Greasy or Magnus.
Greasy and Magnus. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I can pull up their Twitters real quick and take a look, but I don't think I've seen anything from them.
Okay, so then I was slightly misinformed, but if Flakes has left the team, that's also understandable. I felt kind of bad because for the meme day in the Rocket League Esports subreddit, I made a meme that was kind of messing about Flakes, and then
okay, they are broken up.
I thought so. See,
yeah, no, you're right.
Questioning me, Ryan. SMH, you should know better.
Magnus posted a tweet and it says, quote, "It was a great year and a half I had with Complexity, but nothing lasts forever. I wanted to thank them for everything they did for me. They helped me grow as a player as well as a person. That being said, I will be looking for a new team." Flakes made a post saying that he's looking for a new team. I can only assume that Greasy has done the same.
Right. So, yeah, again, I felt kind of bad because I memed on Flakes, and it was about, like, playing the Merc and then getting relegated to RLRS, but then they also got dropped by the Orcs. So then I kind of felt bad. But, again, I don't think this is a wholly unexpected move. This is a team that had some very promising results early on in the creation of this roster, and then their RLCS season has been a massive disappointment.
Yeah, that was a huge disappointment. They were looking so good off of their DreamHack wins and stuff that I was fully expecting this team to come in and make some noise whenever they went into RLCS. I was expecting Veloce to be like them and I was expecting them and Veloce to have a flip in the outcomes that they had. And so it was really disappointing to see how Complexity came out on that one. Yeah,
and again, it's part of the natural life cycle of these RLCS teams where they don't get the results that they want, and then this is just something that you have to anticipate happening. I don't think too many organizations of Complexity size are interested in competing in second division. We heard Evil Geniuses say something very, very similar when the whole thing with Jerk Bay came out.
Complexity came from the rival series with this team, and so for them to fall back, it was kind of like, well, that was a waste of money.
Basically, right?
I mean, that's how it must have felt. I mean, they were looking so good, and then they had these couple of issues happen, and just all that hard work went straight down the pipe. So it was that sucked, and I can imagine how frustrating it probably was from the organization side of you invested all this money into them, giving them salaries and stuff, and then just nope, you didn't deliver on anything for us. So
again, I feel bad, but I feel like there's not too much to say about it. If you have to stay in RLCS to stay with your org, that's kind of just how it is.
No, it definitely is. Just sometimes that's how it goes. But you got anything else you want to add on this one?
No, not really. I think the stuff with Complexity and with Flakes has been discussed a lot already. And I think this is not a surprising move, so I think it's just one of those things that happens. But yeah, I think our next point is going to be a bit more juicier, shall we say?
Yeah, to put it lightly.
Something like that.
Yeah, real quick, I was copying something, so but yeah, just unfortunate to see that for them. But we're gonna move on to our next bit of news. This one concerns RBG. So RBG officially let go of Aeon from the team, and for those of you who don't know, they just qualified for RLCS before their first season as a team in RLCS even occurred. Aeon was officially dropped, and there's been a lot of speculation and stuff on what's going on with that. And you and me were kind of talking about it a little bit beforehand, but I want to kind of get your perspective on this because I did a lot of talking beforehand, but I didn't get much of your perspective.
Yeah, so this was so first of all, I think this was a shock to basically everyone. There was no
I don't think anybody saw this one coming.
There was no indicator prior to this that anyone on that team was interested in a move. And it was stunning because they just got basically this is the best day of their lives, right? They have worked tirelessly throughout rival series, through the bubble scene, to get to this point. They get, picked up by an organization. They have a pretty solid run in the rival series, and then I think you could even say they defied expectations by making it to the RLCS this year. Again, you have to remember at the outset of the season,
I mean, there were a lot of stacked teams going into rival series. This was probably one of the most stacked seasons I think I've seen.
And I don't think too many people had RBG pegged from the beginning as a promotion team. Now, as it went on and they started getting the results, more people started to think that way. And then you finally get the best result possible. You go straight through on the qualifying tournament, the RLCS playoffs, if you will.
Yeah.
And then they cut someone. And I think the optics of it were really poor.
No, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one.
It's one of those situations where it's hard to imagine why one, you would want to make a move like this, and then two, allowing everyone to go through it. So, I'm interested to hear what you said, because, again, full disclosure here, we know people in and around RBG.
I mean, we just had Randomize on the show.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. So, and these are people that both of us have worked with and, done projects together with. And so it's hard because
we consider these people friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was the day that RBG got promoted, I was in New York City.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Josh and I said, Josh, I'm in New York City. I know you're close by. Let's celebrate. And we got drinks together after his team got promoted, because it's amazing. You know, like,
it was a big deal.
And it still is a huge deal.
Yeah.
But then this all happened, and it's like it's like a complete 180.
Yeah.
About the whole feeling of it. So yeah, shocking is one word. I think a lot of people were really upset. There were tons of people who came out, for Aeon and said like, man, this is horrible.
Yeah.
I feel for you.
A lot
blah,
of people
blah, blah.
came out for Aeon.
Basically everyone. I mean, you should look at his Twitter mentions. It was tons of basically every professional. For
a while, there was hashtag justice for Aeon. I saw people throwing out. I think I still see people throwing it out every now and then.
Yeah. Because it's a bit of an unprecedented situation. We've never had a team come up
and
through the rival
drop
series.
A player.
Right? Because if you're in Aeon's shoes, it's atrocious. It is. It's atrocious. You work all that time and you put in all that effort to get to the RLCS, and then you're cut. You're not even a week fresh in the RLCS, and you're cut. Yeah. That's ruthless.
Well, and I mean, it was also one of those things too that, like, even Rapid tried to go on his stream and explain some of what was going on with that situation. And I mean, he was even saying like they were scuffed for like the entire season. He said that team was not working very well throughout a majority of the season, and it was amazing that they even made it, because they didn't feel like they should have made it. And I think a lot of people would agree with that statement. They shouldn't have made it. But shortly after all this like kind of went down, I got to sit down and get in a call with Randomize, and he shared basically like what happened. And I can't like share exactly everything that occurred in that call, but I did get permission from him to share some of it with you guys, just because like that was a very trusting thing of him to share that information with me. And so I wrote out something to help try and give myself a guideline so that I know what I can make sure that I'm staying in what I can share. So if it looks like I'm reading something, it's because I am to an extent. So just kind of bear with me as I kind of go through this, and I'll try and give y'all what I gathered from my conversation with him. But so After a conversation with Randomize, the CEO of RBG, I can say that this is not in any way, shape, or form anyone's fault, and the anger and vitriol against all parties involved is uncalled for. I can't share a whole lot, but I can say that the org wasn't left with much of a choice, and instead of arguing with the players, they understood their points, and Aeon mutually agreed and asked to be released from his contract. All the players, coach, and manager, including Aeon, agreed to this. They all worked out the issues as best they could and felt that this was the best thing they could do to try and remedy the situation. You guys have to remember that the players control the spot for RLCS, not the organization. And a lot of people have been coming out after RBG as if this is their fault. And, like, just understand, like, this even happened with Sathu. Space Station Gaming didn't get much of a say in that situation because, again, the players controlled that spot. And so, continuing on, everyone is saying justice for Aeon, yet on Rapid Stream, Aeon even commented the following statements, quote, Rapid and Seabass made the best decision they could with the information they had. Please don't hate on them, end quote. And he also said, quote, I'm not mad and I won't be mad at them for making a decision they thought was best, end quote. Based on his words there alone, they all mutually came to an agreement here. They all agreed on this decision. And I have to say, like, after I was hearing this from him, I felt like this was probably one of the most mature ways that this has ever been handled. Like, no joke. I feel like this is the most professional way that I have ever seen a team decision made. And it is so heartbreaking to see RBG just drag through the mud about this. And I understand the way that they came about it and said whenever they made their statement, it didn't come out right. I get that. And I'm not knocking that. You can criticize them on that all you want. I fully understand that decision. I understand the decision, too, of being mad that Aeon got kicked in his inaugural season that he should have had the right to. But, I mean, again, this was a mature decision that all parties came to agree with. And I just think it's outrageous to see how people are handling this when it's just like, they made their decision. I mean, every single time this stuff has happened, I've never seen the organization attacked. It's always been the teammates attacked. And so it's like, it blows my mind to see that RBG is the one getting attacked here.
Yeah, so there's a couple of elements, I think, to that. One is that people will perceive RBG differently because they're not, and like, I'll say this the most respectful way that I can, but they're not as tier 1 or as high end as a lot of the organizations that are in this scene. So they're not G2, they're not Cloud9, they're not even Complexity, or Renault Vitality, whatever. There are so many that have a lot more prestige, right? They're a community organization essentially, right?
Yeah.
So people will look at it and say, the presentation of it from this, lower level, and I'm going to put that in parentheses, but lower level organization, the optics are atrocious. And on top of that, and I'm not sure that I went looking for it recently and I couldn't find it, but the original video that they put out with their COO, I think it's Miswan, right?
Yeah.
They came out and said like that there was motivation and performance issues, and I feel like that sort of put people on the wrong track, even if that is truly the case.
It was true, and like that's the thing, is that is true. There were a lot of issues going on, and Snow White there in chat, I understand the Sathu situation was different in that he got to play a full season, but at the same time, I'm not referencing that. I'm referencing the fact that this organization is the one that keeps being attacked. Not a single person got mad at Space Station Gaming during that situation. They were mad at the two teammates and they were mad at the situation. That's what I'm hearkening back to. I understand they got to play a full season. I'm not disputing that in any way. I'm just saying I think it's stupid how everybody's attacking RBG as if this is their fault. I get it. They didn't come out with the best wording for this. I totally agree with that. Even Randomize agrees with that. He thinks that they could have done better on the delivery of that. But it's just so, I mean, it's been frustrating for me to read this stuff, to be honest.
The problem is that RBG got put in basically an impossible spot. Once you're, and again, you said it before, but we'll make this doubly clear. It is not the organizations that control the spot in RLCS. It is 100% the players. So if the players want to make a move,
they have every right to.
Not only do they have every right to, but there's not much you can do to stop them. Yeah. Because if that's what they decide, their decision ultimately is final. There's no.
Well, it was one of those.
There's no way of getting around it.
But like again, like the team, coach, and manager, they all made this decision together, and they presented it to RBG. And RBG, rather than fighting with the players, saying like, "No, we don't want this" or anything, like they agreed. Like, okay, if this is what you guys mutually want, as the players who own the spot, we will concede to what you want to do here. Like,
right. And I don't think they have a choice.
No,
I don't
and
think
you really don't have a choice. Like, there's literally nothing they can do there. What, are you going to force these players to stay together if they don't want to be together? Like, and this is the thing, is just like every time I've heard someone making a point about this, it's always just attacking. There's never been like any moment where people are trying to just understand what's going on. And it's just... it sucks because it's like, I know these guys, I know this team and this organization, and it's like they've done so much for this community, for the Rocket League scene, and it's just, man, like, and I know like I'm getting a little bit heated, but it's just like I'm so frustrated by it because that my call with Randomized went on for a while because it was just like it sucked so much to see how
and I know that he's taking it very personally. It's his baby.
And it was like I totally understood where he was coming from. Like as a fellow organization owner, like I totally understood where he was coming from, and like it was frustrating because it just sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. And as harsh as the backlash has been, I feel like over time people are largely going to end up not caring too much about it. Some people, I think, will still hold the grudge. Because people will only look at it on a surface level, right?
Yeah.
They will simply...
there are people who aren't trying to get to know the full situation.
No, because there are people who, on a surface level, are just going to look at it and say they got to RLCS and cut a player, and then, to them that's the only story. Is they cut the player after they got there and it's horrible, which again, on the surface, I agree, is horrible. But
yeah, I mean, at a surface level, like it sucks through and through. Like it's just a crappy situation. And like, I understand like the community's mad about it because they feel like it's a breach of trust or something between the players and the organization, but it wasn't even between the player and the organization. Like that's like the main point that I want to say is it was just like, this was a decision that they all came to as a team, and then they had to go along with it because, again, players own the spot. And if they don't feel like it's going to work, then it's not going to work. And you are not gaining anything by forcing them to play together.
Yeah, basically. So, going forward, it'll be interesting to see, where each, member of the situation goes. For Aeon, frankly, at the moment, I don't see how he's going to get on an RLCS team in North America. Going forward, I just don't see a way that he'll find a spot. Regarding RBG finding a third, I don't know how many people are going to be willing to go into that situation.
Yeah.
There were heavy rumors that Lethmir was going to take the spot. He's come out and since said that he's not going to do that, much to the bemusement of everyone. Yeah, I wonder who they're going to take. First Killer is going to be an option, isn't he?
I do know who they're eyeing. I can't say, but they have several players on their list right now. But Chewy, man, I understand you're mad about the situation, but at the same time, like, the players all agreed to it. There's no, like, they all agreed to this decision. They came about it in mature fashion. Like, sitting here and saying that type of stuff about them, like, that's not helping the situation. And again, it comes back to my point of this is so dumb how people are treating this when not everybody even understands what happened. Because people aren't really trying to. They just want to immediately say, like, oh, screw them for doing this. You can be mad about the decision. You can dislike it all you want. But at the end of the day, they all agreed to this. And that's my point.
Yeah. And, you know, there's only so much you can really do or say about it. At the end of the day, this is the decision that they came to. They executed on that decision. And actually, I do want to give them some credit in the sense that they came out with a decision early. They didn't, wait. They didn't wait until
like they all talked about
lacking.
it and they figured it out pretty quickly. I mean, that's like, if anything, like, I'm with you. I think that's the best part about this whole situation is because it gives Aeon plenty of time to find a new team. Like, he's not going to be hurting to try and find a team at like the last second here because they tried all offseason and it just couldn't fix it. And so, like, I'm with you. I like that. And then I'll respond to that in chat.
Yeah, giving people time to, have the flexibility to move around is a good thing. I also think that generally speaking, the players themselves have handled it very professionally. I haven't seen any sort of animosity or disrespect from the players individually. Again, I think that because they all
had a mature conversation about this, which is what you and me have always talked about when we're on this show, is that we want to see these teams handle this in a more mature fashion. And then finally a team does. I'll agree, at a very inopportune time. It sucks that it happened right before their inaugural season in RLCS. That part about it sucks. But it sucks that it's like finally a team does it and everybody is just like, nah, forget you. Like,
yeah.
You just can't win.
But that's really because on a surface level, it is horrible. Without knowing every bit of detail.
Yeah, no, and I understand that.
People only care to the headlines, and it's like, there's only so much you can do, and it doesn't help that. And again, I'll bring up Chewy's point in chat. It doesn't help that Rapid has a interesting history of his own regarding his community. I don't frankly care enough to go touch on, but there are plenty of
I'll agree. There's an
an
interesting past there, but at the same time, I think that everyone who's bringing that up is just trying to, and everyone's upset about the situation, and they're trying to find a justification in the situation, and so they're starting to lean on stuff like, oh, Rapid's a crappy person, or oh, it's RBG's fault. And I get that. And that's kind of what happens when you don't understand a situation and you want answers. But unfortunately, this is a situation where, like, after my conversation with him, you're probably not going to get the answers to this. Like, what I told you is probably the most, aside from what Rapid has already said, that you're going to hear about this. Because the players made their decision and they just want to move forward from it,
Yeah, and that's what's hard too, is this is supposed to be such a momentous and great thing for them, and it's instead
mired in controversy.
It turned completely on its head. And so I feel for them all in that sense, that it's kind of being taken away from them.
Yeah, and I mean, it just sucks in general because it's like the players weren't happy with the situation. It sucks for them if they try to keep pushing forward as a team when all of them know it's not working. It sucks that Aeon's being kicked because this is the decision that they went with. It sucks that that's the way it went, but it would be just as bad if they all stayed together. None of them were happy with the situation, and they immediately fell out of RLCS because of that. Rather than try to give Aeon the opportunity to go to another team where he feels comfortable and them pick up another player that they feel comfortable with. And like, again, it sucks and it is what it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, these are all conversations that happen behind closed doors that we're never going to fully understand. Even after my conversation, I still don't have all the details. I have quite a bit of the details to where I can make a pretty good idea on how this all played out, and I have enough to know how this went out, but it's just some of this stuff has been ridiculous. I will say though, to Chewy's point there in chat, Dude with the Nose did make a really funny response to it all. Did you see that? He made a really funny tweet saying Aeon had the blueprint to RLCS but didn't have enough credits.
That's rough. I like that though. That is funny.
It's a little like tongue in cheek and everything, but it was just like
funny.
I liked that one. I thought that was the best way to try and find humor in the situation. And I think that's all you can do is just try to find humor in it and just try to find the bright sides to it. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and you know, we'll see again how it all plays out in the future. You know, what the other changes are.
We'll keep an eye on Aeon's situation. And I mean, I hope to God the guy gets picked up because he definitely has talent for it. You know.
Yeah, and it sucks that this whole thing played out as it did, and I don't know. I think we've said as much as we can.
Yeah.
About it without being repetitive.
Yeah, no, I think we've kind of said everything we can at this point. But that is all we're gonna say on that. If you guys have any comments and stuff, be sure to drop them. We'll be sure to try and respond to you or not, depending on how productive it is. But do you want to go ahead and talk about the prediction deal for us? So if you explain it to them on how they can get the wheels and everything and how to go about doing all that, and I'll pull that up here for everybody.
Okay, so in case you didn't know, RLCS LAN starts on Friday in about 48 hours. Whoop, whoop. So
God damn, 48 hours. That feels so weird.
Right?
It feels like it's been so long.
Exactly. So Ryan, if you can join me on the master copy there, page number 1.
Ta-da! I'm with you.
We have made this wonderful looking bracket here, and by we I mean I made it.
Perino gets all the credit. I just sat on the sidelines and was like, "Did you make this?"
Yes. So here's the deal. You can open up this sheet, and again, we'll link it in chat. We will link it in our podcast descriptions if you're listening to this later on. We will show, in the description in YouTube, we will show you how to get to this page. But basically, this master page has the whole bracket for the whole weekend, right? There's Group A, Group B, and the playoffs. And your job is to go through every single series and predict the series score, right? So in Group A, for example, the first match is Veloce versus Low-Key. And it's a best of 5. And you can look at it and say, well, I think Veloce is going to win this one 3-1, right? So if you go ahead, and Ryan, if you'd like to join me as well so everyone at home can see, if you type in Veloce 3, Low-Key 1, you notice what happens is that the next name goes right across on the bracket there. So in that case, Low-Key drops to the loser semifinal, Veloce moves on. And so you can fill out the entire bracket, right? You go through, you pick all the different series, and eventually you fill out the entire thing. Now, what do you do after you fill out the entire thing? Well, you save it and you send it to us. So in this little how-to on the right here, it just gives you the little points. It explains how we score it and how we take a look at it. Again, the way that it goes, simply, the beginning matches are worth 1 point, Then the semifinal series in the group stage are worth 2 points. The final games in the group stages are worth 4, and then the playoff is worth more and more. For every series that you predict correctly, you'll earn those points. And then the person with the most points wins a copy of RLCS wheels. Who?
Ooh. Get some wheels,
right,
bro. Get some wheels.
So again, the way to submit it is, again, once you fill out the entire bracket, and again, Ryan, if you can scroll over a little to the right there on the copy, it shows you the like the different match point totals and stuff. So again,
I didn't go far enough over.
Yeah. So it shows you all of that. Do us a favor, either just copy and paste, take a screenshot,
take a
share the document itself.
Because this is all automatically set to copy and move everything over as you do your predictions.
Yes. So once you put the numbers in, it all goes there.
So take a screenshot of this portion right here for us, and then send it to us.
Yes.
And we'll include the email on here later.
Again, Ryan and I have to figure out which email address
we know
we're
it's
gonna send it
janky.
to.
We suck at this. It's our first time.
But
we're pick'ems virgins.
The tool itself is pretty effective, but the submission method...
the submission method's where we're screwed, dude.
Kind of. But again, everyone should have access to this. Again, if you have access to Google Sheets, anybody can access this page. You can make your own copy and do your own work.
Yeah. And this is... So if you do ! Pick'ems, Pickems, or no, just exclude the S, Pick'em there in our Twitch chat, it'll pull up the link for you. We will also include this link on the YouTube video in the description. And this is only for people who are listening to the podcast and watching live right now. If you don't listen to the podcast, if you don't do any of that, you're not going to see this. We're not posting it on Twitter. We're not posting it on Reddit because we wanted to do something specifically for listeners, because that was kind of the intention when Nexum Crash donated this to us. So that to honor that's how we're doing this. So only if you're listening to the podcast do you get access to this. And when is this due by again?
This is due by the start of the first game on Friday, so there's not a ton of time. Chewy actually makes a great point in chat. Just make a Discord channel. That's true. We could just make a Discord channel, but again, we'll see what our submission method is. I like that idea though. That's smart.
We can go with that. I'll create a channel in the Discord for us.
Yeah, so we'll keep that information open where you find our podcast.
Yeah, we may need to at some point we may open up our around the scene Discord server to the public, but we'll discuss that.
Ooh,
because right now, like we just have like the guests and everybody in there, so it's like we probably should open it up to people who actually like listen to the show and want to discuss this stuff. But
true. Well,
without further ado, you got anything else that you need to share with them for them to understand how to do this?
Nope. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Again, just make sure that when you're going through and making your picks, the sheet is set up so that it automatically does it with the...
Yeah, so like see his
Veloce
Esports Loki, he put 3-1 here. It automatically migrates over here to the side, and it also moves Loki down there, moves Veloce over. So if you just follow this section and then take a screenshot of this section for us. That's all you need to know, really.
Yes. And again, I don't want to say lucky because it does take a degree of skill, but may the best user win, and good luck, everyone.
Yeah,
but I think we're gonna do our pick'ems right now, aren't we, Ryan?
Yes, we are. So, I'll
make a copy for myself. So actually this will be a good illustration on how to make a copy in Google Sheets. So if you right click on that master copy in the bottom left, right? Because you can't edit this one. Only I can. Or actually, can you edit it as well? I think you can edit it as well. if you just hit copy to and then existing spreadsheet, right? So right click master copy, copy to existing spreadsheet.
Wait, are you doing that, or am I supposed to be doing that?
I'm just doing it so.
Okay. So I can stay on the one that we're on right now. That I've been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go through my predictions and then, we'll go through your predictions and mine at the same time. We'll kind of like flip back and forth between them. So are you just there on the second one?
I'm currently working on the master copy, but I will. I'll name one if you want to work on a different one there.
Here, I'll work on copy of master copy, and you work on master copy. We'll just do that.
Okay. I like that.
So okay. What do you think of this first matchup between Veloce and Loki?
I see. It's always tough because the outside of the power regions, which are North America and EU, we haven't really seen that much success, outside of the Chiefs in these international lands. I tend to think Veloce takes this one. I said 3-1 initially. I'm going to stick with that, I think. Just because Veloce's had an excellent season. I think they'll come out swinging. I think they'll come out with a point to prove. I think this is a favorable matchup overall for them.
Veloce just looked good all season, like
pretty much, right?
So what are you predicting here for this matchup?
I have 3-1.
3-1. Are you putting that in the sheet, or did you type it into the sheet? I just want to make sure that I'm on the right one for you.
Hold on, it's being slow on my end.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So then, again, because we're all doing this live on the show, of course, so nothing's ever smooth. But I'm making a new sheet right now that just says Perino prediction, and then. Yeah, you'll be able to follow mine there. Okay. All right. Whew.
All right. So your prediction 3-1. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that they're going to be able to pick up one win, but I really just don't see Loki coming in and taking down Veloce after the wild season they've had. Veloce just looked too good right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Choi brings up a good point too in chat. King Card might have something to say about it, but yeah, again, I also tend to think Veloce looks too good. They're so hot right now. I don't see them dropping the first match.
So moving on to E United versus Renegades. This one a little bit harder. Renegades came out looking pretty awesome. I mean, we're not even seeing CJ, and Drippy's team this season.
Yeah. Again, Renegades have had an excellent season. E United is a tough one to evaluate. Again, this is a team that we all probably thought was not going to be here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're definitely the wild card.
They made. I
like the way that they play.
Yeah. Personally, I think it's gonna go 3-2 in favor of Renegades. Personally, that's my prediction.
Oh, that's so difficult. My NA brain is saying take E United. I think I'm gonna go 3-2 the other way. I think I'm taking
E
United 3-2 over the Renegades there. I'm sorry for the boys, up the boys, but I don't know. I think that's a tough one for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. But moving on to the next one, that's going to be Energy Esports versus Veloce Esports. This one kind of sucks because Energy has a really bad habit of, like, to be blunt, shitting the bed at LAN. So I'm unfortunately going to call this really closely on them. I'm going to call it 3-2 in favor of Energy.
I thought you were gonna go against them.
No, I'm holding. I think that they're going to win because this is now the second time that we'll see Turbo at LAN with them, I believe. But it's just, I don't know that adding him is enough to get them to shake this tendency they have to just do terrible at LAN. No, and I'm with you guys in chat. I'm hoping that Turbo can help them fix that and they pop off with him. But it's just, I don't know if it's enough to shake it off. Yeah, they won Beyond the Summit, but that was in such a relaxed atmosphere compared to this that I don't know if that carries over.
Yeah, and again, I have the same matchup here, NRG Veloce. I just...
What are your predictions, man?
I know this it's so hard because I'm being put on the spot, too. And I'm such an NRG fanboy. I can't pick against them. I think they come out swinging. I think they come out with a point to make. I'm going, again, big NA brain. I'm going 3-0.
Big
NRG.
NA brain.
3-0 to the boys on NRG. Let's go.
Right.
Let's get this bread.
All right, man. I'm gonna hold you to that. And then match F, that is gonna be Renault Vitality versus EU United for you, and Renault Vitality versus Renegades for me. I think that this goes Renault Vitality regardless of which team goes up against them. I think it's Renault Vitality 3-1. Renault Vitality, they're a little slow on those first days, but I mean, when you got the mastermind and K-Dop, like his captain ability, I just don't think you're gonna beat that team. They are so, for some reason, they like unlock some special ability every time they go to LAN. Anytime K-Dop goes to LAN, he unlocks some weird ability that allows him to just win everything.
Yes, it's very strange how they do that, but I agree. I think Vitality will clap either EU United or Renegades. It does not matter who. I also have it 3-1 Vitality.
The only reason I'm giving Renegades one win here is because Vitality typically comes out shaky in the first 2 days. And then, or the first day, sometimes it goes into the second day. By third day, if they make it there, they're always strong looking.
Yeah, it's, again, it's tough, but I don't know. I think the quality's there. I think they're going to be ready to go. You know, I have a hard time picking against them. No, I know what you're saying with the inconsistency, but I have such a hard time picking.
It's just in days 1, and then occasionally it goes into the second day as well. That's why I'm thinking that they lose one, but I still think they overall win it.
I can agree with it.
Regardless of if it's Renegades or United, like that first matchup feels so inconsequential because whoever goes up against Vitality, I just see losing.
Yeah.
So going into match H, we both have Energy Esports versus Renault Vitality. What do you think for this one?
Well, my big NA brain is telling me actually to go against NRG here. I just think I think Vitality is a team that has always had their number historically. I think that, and again, in this case, it would be a rematch, you know, between Turbo and K-Dop. I don't think NRG necessarily pulls this out. I think, you know, knowing with NRG, knowing that you don't have to win this game to go through, I think that will allow them to sort of relax into a spot where they're going to feel good enough about winning the first game. They might not perform as well in the second game. I'm actually giving this one 3-2 Vitality.
Okay. I went the opposite way. I'm giving it 3-2 in favor of Energy because, again, Vitality tend to come out cold in that first day. And so that's what I'm counting on here is Energy's like weirdness to do bad at LAN still not being as bad as how cold Vitality is on day 1 for LANs.
That's fair enough.
So I think that it goes 3-2 in favor of Energy. You think it goes 2-3 in favor of, or 3-2 in favor of Renault Vitality. But moving down to the loser semifinals, so we completed the upper side of that bracket. So match C, it's E United versus Low-Key Esports for you, and for me, it's Renegades versus Low-Key Esports. Who do you see winning for yours? I see Renegade. I see this one being close, to be honest. I think that it's 2-3 in favor of Loki.
Yeah, I actually like low-key in this one as well. Again, I just don't think that the quality is necessarily there with E United. I know that they're riding a hot streak essentially going into LAN. I just think that I feel like the stage might be a little bit too big for them. This will be low-key's second attempt, at an RLCS championship. I think that they're just going to have their number here. I am going 3-1 low-key.
All right. So you predict that E United will officially be dropped out of the tournament at that point. I predict that Renegades will be dropped out of the tournament at that point. And so going to that next match, you have Veloce Esports versus Renegades. I have Veloce Esports versus E United. I predict Veloce taking that 3-0. I think that's going to be a sweep in favor of Veloce. They just look too good for me.
Yeah, and I actually also have it as a 3-0 for Veloce. Again, Veloce might, they're in a tough bracket. This is kind of a group of death, almost.
This is a pretty tough bracket. When you got Vitality, Energy, and Veloce all together, I just think you're kind of screwed either way.
Yeah, and I do think that is ultimately the three teams that will come out of this.
Yeah.
I just really don't see a way around that. So obviously that sort of makes my prediction for the losers final sort of accurate and set in stone there. I'm going to say Veloce 3-1 over Loki. Yeah, this is just a really tough group if you're not Veloce, Energy, or Renault Vitality. It may not necessarily happen in the way that I have it, but I feel like there's no way that those aren't the three teams that come out of this.
I think that this one for Match G, you said 3-1. Loki comes out losing that.
Yeah, I have 3-1. Again, you can.
I have 3-2. I think that Veloce will still win it, but I think Loki's going to bring it close just because I feel like they'll be coming out of their win against Renegades. Even if that goes all the way to a Game 5, I feel like they're going to be coming out of that on a high to where they'll be able to give Veloce more of a challenge than they did there in Match A.
Again,
so that's my prediction.
We'll see.
But we're going to move down to Group B now. That first game is going to be Space Station Gaming versus Canberra Havoc. I predict that going 3-0, to be honest. I think Space Station Gaming, it'll be their first time going, but I'm pretty sure it's all of Canberra Havoc's first time going as well. And I think that, again, Space Station Gaming coming from North America, they've just got that higher level of ability, and I just think that they're going to have a lot of momentum being there for their first time after how they won to get in here.
Yeah, I also have Space Station winning this. I have them 3-2, so I have mine much closer. But these are both teams with something to prove here. Space Station in the sense that, they were sort of a surprise coming out of NA this season. A lot of people didn't expect them to be here. With Canberra again, or Cranberry, as they say. Sorry, Chewy.
Cranberry.
I'll accommodate your pronunciation. The Cranberry Havoc. Same deal with them. They're gonna have a lot to prove. I just think the international experience will be a factor for both teams. So it'll just really come down to quality at the end of the day. And I think Space Station just has more of it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. So move on to the next one. It's Dignitas versus Three Sins. I'm going 3-0. I think that Dignitas, Astral has done something with this team. I don't know what exactly he did to help them turn things around so much this season compared to how they did last season. But I was super happy with what I saw. I think that they take down Three Sins easy.
Yeah, I agree with this pick, actually. I'm going 3-1 Dignitas. Yeah, Astral has really turned it to another level. This is a team with a lot of experience with the I almost said K-Dot, with Violent Panda, and Yukio, and I just, I expect these guys to come out swinging. I have them taking that 3-1.
All right. So moving on to match M, that's Team Reciprocity versus Space Station Gaming for both of us. That's both what we are predicting at the moment. This one is a bit harder. To be honest, I think that Reciprocity takes it 3-1 because they just have so much more LAN experience than Space Station Gaming does that I think that plays in their favor. They are coming off of a bye, so Space Station Gaming will be coming into that one hot. But I still think that just at the end of the day, Reciprocity just is going to do better in a LAN environment than them.
Yeah. Again, I feel like I'm sort of just mirroring exactly everything you say, but I really do agree with you. I have them 3-0. They have the Airbus, exactly, Chewy.
They have the Airbus and a sock. A deadly sock at that.
Yes, and I have pretty high expectations for this Reciprocity team coming into it. I think they come out swinging again, and I think they roll through this group, to be honest with you.
And Fruity. We need a meme name for Fruity. Just call him the basket. I don't know. But going into match N, we both predicted Dignitas winning that first game, so it goes Pittsburgh Knights versus Dignitas. This is another interesting one, but I personally think this is going to go Pittsburgh Knights 3-2. I think that it's going to be a close match, but I think that at the end of it, PK's hyper-aggressive play style is going to totally destroy Dignitas. And I think that when they win the games in that series, it's going to be pretty handy wins.
I actually have this one going the other way. I have it 3-2 Dignitas.
Oh.
I see here's my thing on the Pittsburgh Knights again. This has been an incredible season for them. I don't know how effective it's going to be against European teams who I feel are able to slow the pace down to the point where they'll be able to handle the Knights play style like that.
Yeah.
This is going to be sort of an ugly series. I feel like it'll be very low scoring, but I feel like Dignitas is just going to rise to the occasion here. I
think Dignitas has improved, but I don't think that they've improved enough to where I think that they'll be able to handle Pittsburgh Knights. I think that because going to match P, I've got Team Reciprocity versus Pittsburgh Knights, and you have Team Reciprocity versus Dignitas. I think that Team Reciprocity is going to be able to handle PK, and I think it's going to go 3-1 because Reciprocity, again, this team has so much more experience together as a unit than this Dignitas team does, that I think that they'll be able to do that. I just don't know that I see Dignitas having the same finesse that Reciprocity has.
Yeah, I also have Reciprocity winning this year again. I feel like Reciprocity kind of owns this group. This is really their group to lose.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's pretty much the same thing there too.
You know, I'm expecting a statement from them early, with just how set they are and the whole situation in general. Again, I have them beating Dignitas 3-2, coming out on top of Group B. But yeah, that's just me. I feel like the quality is too much.
Yeah. And so that takes us down to the losers bracket for that. And then here's a quick look at Perino's bracket for you guys as well. Dignitas dropping at 3-2. And then I predicted PK losing at 3-1. So going into match K, that is Dignitas versus Canberra Havoc for me. And it's Pittsburgh Knights versus Canberra Havoc for you. I think that, to be honest, I think both of them take it to 3-0.
Yeah, I look at it and I don't know. Again, I have the Knights here instead of Dignitas. I think it'll be a little bit closer with PK, but I think Pittsburgh will take down the Havoc. I don't see enough from the Havoc to to really take anyone down here, to be honest.
No, I'm with you on that. So that takes us to match L. I think we both have the same for that. Space Station Gaming versus the Three Sins.
Yeah, I'm expecting a 3-0 for Space Station here.
Same. I have to agree with you on that one.
Space Station's offense, when it's clicking, is absolutely deadly. I don't think that teams from OC or South America, for that matter, are going to be able to handle that level of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, too, is when you look at it, we said that Group A is the group of death, but I almost think this one is because you got Space Station and Pittsburgh Knights, who are both very aggressive play styles. And then you've also got the consistency of reciprocity along with the extra boost, like, along with, like, kind of the not coasting, the momentum that Dignitas is having coming out of the season. That it's just, I don't know that these are teams that those regions can overcome, to be totally honest.
Yeah, and again, the difference I feel like is on land, you know, anyone can have their day, but ultimately, you know, it comes down to the quality. It comes down to the tenacity of teams. I feel like teams who have an aggressive play style can thrive if they get the momentum early, or if they are given enough opportunities to start, you know, really kicking it up to another level.
Yeah.
For the losers final, I know.
So it's Dignitas versus Space Station Gaming.
On your end, on my end, I have the Knights and SSG. I think the Knights beat SSG here. I have it 3-1 Pittsburgh.
Okay.
You know, I think the Knights can have them figured out if on their day.
I think it goes. So for years, it's Space Station versus Knights.
Yeah, that's what I have.
For my Dignitas and Space Station, I think it goes 3-2 in favor of Space Station because, again, I'm gonna harken back to that aggressive play style that Space Station and Pittsburgh Knights have, and I know that reciprocity would have the ability to handle it. I feel confident that they could deal with it. I don't feel like Dignitas could handle that pressure, though, they bring to the table. Because we've seen that stance where North America, for some reason this season, has taken a very hyper-aggressive play style across several teams. And Europe, it hasn't been... They haven't really changed much. They've been very much the same about, like, teamwork, getting proper rotations down, all that stuff. That it's just, I don't know that Dignitas I don't feel like Dignitas has enough experience with it in the way that NRG does to be able to deal with it, you know?
Yeah. Again, I wonder how teams are scrimming going into this. I wonder if there are any international scrims that'll sort of, you know, open their eyes to
what they need to fix up.
But again, with the European teams, I feel like the ability to slow it down is so much more impactful for them against that playstyle, because really the counter to an aggressive playstyle is outside. Like, either you have to turn up the aggression yourself,
or take control of the pacing, basically,
and really slow it down. So
yeah.
I feel like the European teams are better at slowing it down, and when they do that, I feel like they're more deadly just with the passing and with the overall rotation. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have to keep an eye and see how it goes. But going into the playoffs, Perino is predicting that these are going to be the 6 teams that make it to the final day. It's going to be Dignitas versus Veloce Esports, Energy Esports versus Pittsburgh Knights, and then waiting there in the semifinals will be Renault Vitality and Team Reciprocity. So those are Perino's 6 teams. My 6 teams are Pittsburgh Knights versus Veloce, Renault Vitality versus Space Station Gaming, and Energy Esports and Team Reciprocity sitting in the semifinals. So, first matchup for you, Dignitas versus Veloce. How do you see that one going?
I just feel like Veloce are too good here. I am going to write them in as going against. So those are best of 7s now, so I'm going to say 4-2. Sorry, 4-2 over Dignitas. Veloce are just a really solid team overall. This is going to be a hard-fought series. Every goal is going to matter. again, Veloce, too much quality. They're going to take that down.
Yeah. Going into mine, it's Pittsburgh Knights versus Veloce. That is really hard. Oh, man, that's a tough one, to be totally honest. You know, I think that... Man, because Veloce have looked really good. You know, I'm gonna stick with my gut on this one. I think that Pittsburgh Knights have proven themselves well enough at this point that I think that they've got the chops to take it. I think it goes 4-2 in favor of Pittsburgh Knights.
Ooh, I like it. I
feel like they've proven themselves enough at this point. I feel like if you're still doubting this team, you just don't like Reddles is all I think. That's all I see, because I agree with Illusion there in chat. If PK wins Worlds, Reddle's ego is going to be off the charts. And, you know, as much as I want Energy to win, I kind of also hope I see that, because I think that would be hilarious to watch.
Yeah, that would be something else. Again, big B-Rain NA plays too much to handle. It would be nice to see a North American team win it all.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Knights are that team, but it would be cool to see that.
Yeah. So that is match G. Going down to match R, you have Energy Esports versus Pittsburgh Knights. I've got Renault Vitality versus Space Station. How do you predict yours going?
I think that NRG are simply too good for the Pittsburgh Knights. NRG have seen them way too many times. It's going to be a similar result to what we've seen in league play. NRG take that down 4-1. I just feel like NRG has so much experience against this team that they're not going to let them.
Yeah, I feel like Energy has this team's number.
Oh, absolutely. And again, they've shown it that really, you know, NRG are the ones who can knock the Knights down a peg.
Yeah.
And I feel like it repeats itself here. Of all the teams to stop NRG on their quest for a world title, I don't think it's the Knights.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I don't think I see it being that either. For mine, it's Renault Vitality versus Space Station Gaming. This is going to be day 3 at this point. I think Renault Vitality are in full swing. I don't think that they drop much of anything here. I think they lose 1 game against Space Station Gaming, so I predict it going 4-1 in favor of Renault Vitality, because again, day 3 is their day. That is the day that we'll really see where they are standing as a team. If they come out and they look terrible in game 1 and game 2, then I see it going the other way, but I just don't know that I see that team messing up in day 3. Like, that is the day that they play fantastic Rocket League.
Yeah, and again, we've seen this so many times from Vitality where they have something else. It's hard to really explain.
They just have that it factor.
Right.
And it's just so this team is super interesting in that regard, because they can lose against any team, but they can also destroy every team. It is the weirdest dynamic. And it's in like the issue is I see that same factor across all of my top 4 teams. Energy, Pittsburgh, Team Reciprocity, and Renault Vitality. I see it across all 4 of those teams. They can take down anyone on any given day. They could also lose against anyone on any given day.
Yeah.
I think the only one
hard. This is one of the most wide open worlds I think we've ever had.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. So, going into your final, it is Renault Vitality, or your semifinals. You have Renault Vitality versus Veloce Esports. How do you predict that one going?
Oh, this is such an interesting one, right? Because I believe in the regular season, I believe Veloce actually took them down. If I'm not mistaken.
They won.
And so, in a rematch from league play, it's so tough to say. Again, once you hit this point in the tournament,
all bets are off, I think.
and especially, again, the 4 teams that I have here are Vitality, Veloce, Reciprocity, and NRG. I just think the experience, the leadership, and the ability to play under pressure are all there for Vitality. We talk about their X factor. I just think it's slightly too much for Veloce to handle. I'm giving it to them 4-3. We're going to see Vitality in the final once again.
You think Veloce is going to bring them down to the wire?
Oh, 100%. I think it's going to be airtight either way, but I do feel that Vitality will just have that little bit extra to carry themselves through.
Okay. Going back to mine, it's Energy versus Pittsburgh Knights. I'm going to have to predict the same as you did earlier. I think that it goes 4-2 in favor of Energy. Again, I think Energy has this team's number. I think that they've seen them enough now that they have an idea of how to handle it. They've seen this play style across North America now that I just think that they know what they need to do and how to do it. And if Energy do make it to this point in the bracket, if they do make it through day one, like we expect them to this point, I think that they are fully set up and ready to go, that I think they take it down pretty easily. So I think it goes 4-2 in favor of Energy, and I think Energy go to the grand finals.
I like that. As an NRG fan, I would really enjoy seeing them in the grand final.
Yeah. And so going into match T for you, that is Team Reciprocity versus Energy Esports. What do you think is going to happen here?
So you know how I just so you know how I just said
one.
You know how I just said I would like to see Energy in a final? This would definitely be one of the teams that would knock NRG out of the bracket.
This would be the team that I think gives them that hurdle. It's tough, man. This is where it gets tough.
This is truly a toss-up. I don't think either decision is incorrect necessarily. I can't pick with anything other than my heart. I'm going 4-2 Energy. I just feel like the boys with Turbo can do it. I hope. I don't know. It's going to be so close. But I have to just pick with my heart. I do.
No, I would agree with you on that. Energy did beat Reciprocity in Beyond the Summit. So, I mean, they have shown they can beat this team. And I think that they can do it here, too, if I was in your shoes. So, that's your prediction. So, you predict a grand final between Renault Vitality and Energy Esports.
Correct.
So, for me, down in Match T, it's Reciprocity versus Vitality. And as much as I love Reciprocity, again, I have to reference that it factor that Vitality seemed to have. I think that they take... Actually, no. Because going back to the final league play, you know, I'm actually going to change that pick. I think that this goes... I think it goes really freaking close. I think they go all the way to Game 7... And I think Reciprocity just edge out Vitality on this one.
Yeah, the EU versus EU matchup there is a fascinating one. I do feel like those are, again, in terms of overall skill and talent level, I feel like those are the two teams from Europe. Again, at this point, they're all toss-ups. All of these teams that we have at this point are so good. They're all so good that it's so hard to say.
And so in the final match, I've got Energy Esports versus Reciprocity. You've got Energy Esports versus Renault Vitality. What is your prediction? Who do you think is going to be our Season 8 champion?
I said I picked with my heart in the last one, and I'm going to do it twice in a row. Energy going all the way. Garrett finally gets his world title. I have it going 4-2. You know, they're so solid fundamentally. They're so talented overall. This is everything that they've been working towards. I think this is just their moment. Looking at the field and looking at the matchups that they're going to get, this is Energy's tournament to take. I just feel like they do it here. I don't know.
So your champions are going to be Energy. Between Energy and Team Reciprocity, I think that this is Garrett and Justin's tournament to win. I definitely think that they've got everything going for them. I think that this is, I think that they definitely have the chance to take it here. So I'm going to predict 4-3 in favor of Reciprocity. Yep, I know. I think that it's Garrett's time, but I think that the Sock and Airbus and Fruit Basket, I think they take it. I think that they claim, because this is a battle between two teams who have never won a world championship. I think that Reciprocity ends up getting it, though.
Oh, be still my breaking heart.
I know, I love energy,
against the
but
boys.
I totally see Reciprocity stepping up. If they beat Renault Vitality, I see them coming into this so hot and ready to go. I know, it's a heartbreaker. I'm an NA fanboy. I would love to see NRG win, but if I'm going off what I honestly think is going to happen, I think that Reciprocity is going to take it. I think it'll be close, but I think Reciprocity is going to end up edging them out.
I mean,
I know, man.
I know analytically, I can't really argue with you because you do bring up excellent points. And objectively, of course, you can pick any of the teams that we have going this far. I'm just disappointed. That's all right.
I know.
That's all.
I know. Be disappointed. It's okay.
I am.
It's okay. I'll accept your disappointment full on. So you predict Energy will take the championship. I predict that it's going to be Reciprocity. Guys, be sure to submit your predictions so we know what you guys think, because we would love to hear and read your predictions as well. And hopefully we'll be able to come back next week and tell you guys who had the best bracket.
Yeah, one of us is going to have to go through all the submissions and figure it out. So, again,
and I love you
still,
for that. I'll try to help you.
So, yeah, so, again, we're going to figure out what's the best way to submit them. I actually like Chewy's idea of just having either an independent Discord server or a page within our Discord server to post.
Yeah, I'll probably drop a link to the Around the Scene server. We'll just let people come in through there, and we'll have a spot to drop your predictions.
So again, you will find that link. Again, we'll put it in our YouTube description. We will go in the Spotify episode description. We will do basically every way that we can to get
this out to you guys as listeners, because we do appreciate you guys listening, and we hope that you participate, because we want to try and do something fun to engage with you guys, because, again, we do really appreciate you guys listening to us and taking the time out of your day to just check out our opinions on things. So thank you very much for that. And, it's going to be a wild world, and I'm super excited for it.
I can't wait to see the production elements that they have for Madrid. It's a wonderful city to have this event in. If you are going, have so much fun. Again, if you're flying out, maybe you're listening to us on the flight over or something along those lines. So again, if you're going, just remember to have an amazing time. And yeah, it's it's going to be an amazing event, and I can't wait to see who wins.
Same here. But guys, this has been Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. This has been episode 33 with me and Perino. We appreciate you guys listening. Be sure to check out our YouTube video and podcast services as we release the video sometime tomorrow. That'll be Thursday. But again, thank you so much for listening to us. Be sure to follow, subscribe, all that jazz. And we will see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your week, and Godspeed as we all go into this hectic weekend of RLCS Worlds. Take care, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time.